All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Damascus Station by David McCloskey, I believe is how you say that. A new thriller writer that just came on the scene. I saw this book in the bookstore, thought I would get it. It's got some great praise from other thriller writers like, Jack Carr, who did the Terminal List and a whole bunch of other, Anyway, I picked this up because not only did it look interesting, but I read the back, and the guy that wrote it was actually, he was actually a former CIA analyst and consultant. While at the CIA, he worked in the field stations across the Middle East and briefed White House officials and Arab royalty. So he knows his stuff. Damascus Station takes place in the Middle East. This guy is a CIA Middle East expert. Why not give it a shot? What did I think? Okay, let's talk about the cover first, because I love graphic design and cover illustration. Well, it was the cover that drew me to it. I mean, it looks like a pretty cool looking thriller with the slashing red across it. It's pretty cool. I like it. There is a map in here. I love maps. There's a map of Damascus. So there's a few things going for the book. So now this is set during the brutal Syrian civil war, which happened, not that long ago. This book begins in the early years of the Syrian uprising. Our main character, Sam, he's works for the American government. His cover in Syria, though, is he's a Canadian real estate agent or a real estate developer. And as he's going through these checkpoints in the Middle East, he speaks Arabic very well, and he's very smooth. At the same time, he's very nervous because he knows any slip up, and it's sayonara for him. I do like there was right on page 4 there was a clever little line that I really liked. As he's at one of these checkpoints, and he says, "If you weren't twitchy, driving in a hostile country with no lifeline, you were probably a sociopath." Yeah, I mean, the guy's nervous. He's nervous about his job. He's nervous doing his job, but he's pretty smooth and he's pretty competent. So he gets himself through these checkpoints just by being, logical and answering the questions in a right way and not rousing suspicion and what have you. Our other character, Miriam, she is her cousin, Razan, Razan, is protesting against the Syrian regime, King Assad, Assad. He's a protester, and so the protesters against the government in Syria, of course, it's not going to go good for them. And things happen. I won't say what. Things happen. And now Sam, our main character, must recruit Miriam, our female lead, into some espionage type things, and stuff happens. I mean, that's basically all I can really say about it. This is like John le Carré. One thing I noticed about this book, like John le Carré, this book is not focused on, guns and explosions and cool gadgets and James Bond like action, or Jack Carr just like over the top gray man, you mark a grainy gray man type stuff. There's no Jack Reacher in this book just going around kicking everyone's ass. It is really like John le Carré, more about realistic spycraft, modern day spycraft. And of course, John le Carré I love because he's sort of a realistic Cold War spycraft type of a guy. This is like modern. Well, that's because that's what the era that John le Carré was writing in. We can't expect John le Carré, because he's dead now, to write, too modern of a spy. Anyway, let's setting all that aside. I think you get what I'm talking about. It is more about like what this author, David McCloskey, knew, and the things he gleaned from actually working in the field are evident in this. Very well researched, very well detailed. The you know that whoever wrote this has spent time in the Middle East, because there's little details and stuff that I don't understand the details, but I know he understands the details, and just having those details in there makes this for a much more believable story. So the two leads, Sam and Miriam. They get, of course, they're romantic. They go against all policy. Sam goes against all law enforcement policy and gets involved romantically with our female lead, and which adds tension to the story. And the story is basically boils down to, it's about an extremist regime, the torture and the brutality that they foist upon their subjects, and the meaning of freedom and what it means to people. I will read the back part here, just so you can kind of get an idea of what the story is about a little bit more than what I said. So, this is a masterclass in spycraft and a poignant story about forbidden love, set during the brutal Syrian war. Damascus Station follows a CIA officer, Sam, and his Syrian recruit, Miriam, on a hunt for a killer in war-ravaged Syria. The cat-and-mouse chase soon leads to a trail of high-profile assassinations and the discovery of a dark secret at the heart of the Syrian regime, bringing the pair under the all-seeing eyes of Assad's spy catcher and the head of the feared Republican Guard. That's pretty much what did I think overall? What would I give this? For a new, I was impressed with just the amount of detail. It was dialed back. It wasn't like over the top action. I give this, for a new thriller writer on the scene, I'm going to give this like an 8 stars out of 10. I thought it was a good read, a worthwhile read, and we shall see if I buy and read and review any more of this gentleman's thrillers as they come out. So for Damascus Station, that is my review, and there you go.